So the next thing that we're going to be talking about, the next topic, is going to be setting up your template. We call that preferences. So basically where it's located is going to be maintain. And I'm going to move my mouse right up to preferences. As I select that, it brings me up my preferences screen. So let me just go over this real quick because this is system wide. Okay, that means that will automatically, whatever this is in, whatever we put into the preferences section, it will copy for all claims. That's what I mean by system-wide. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to click System Preferences. So once I do that, that's the first screen that comes in. As you can see, I have a logo in here. I can delete the logo or I can select another logo. And all this is a browse button, and then you would go and find it. Okay, so I have it on the desktop. I can then scroll down, and it's going to show only bitmaps. Okay, only bitmap files. Okay, so we just need to pick on the Simsol icon. As you can see, everything's a bitmap. Another thing that I recommend is enable location factor markup. What that does is they'll give you a markup field box when you're selecting the location factor for setting up your database. So it'll say, well, listen, this is what, it might be 100, 100, 100, which is labor, material, and equipment. And it'll add another column called markup. So you could say, I want a 20% markup, especially for this storm. If you're out work in Florence, then you can come up and say, I want 120, 120, 120 as far as my markup factors go. So I always check that. Your photos can be taken by adjuster. That should be default. And you want to make sure that we have a category and subcategory for contents items. Show the photo panel on the main screen. That's pretty important, I think is a good idea. And do not use the automatically set close date. Mainly staffers will use that, but independent IAs will not, okay? And update all the drawers with the default pricing and the latest pricing after the update. You can select always ask, but I always click on yes because I want the latest and greatest. So you do have that ability to select that. The next thing is on the print options. Just make sure that your estimate disclaimer text is selected. Okay, and you can then change that. But this, you can only have this amount of characters. So you don't want to write a novel here. You just want to come up and put in no more than, I would say, 35 to 40 characters, okay? On the billing, real easy. I put the service fee dues in 30 days, expenses fees 30, and the retainage is normally 60 days. So you can bill from the adjustment company to the carrier/client, and then you can also place your logo right or left. And if you're doing flood, you're going to do a fee schedule. If you happen to be doing a time and expense, most likely over 51%, then hit time and expense. And then you can come up here and then say thank you for the assignment. Okay. So that's on the billing section. A lot of people omit this, but it's a very nice feature. Date format, you shouldn't have to worry about. On the diagram, you just want to, if you want to turn on the enabled area smart sketch and printing, this is, you could enable that. If you don't want it, you can come over here and then disable that. On the email, please do not use our email program for communications. You want to use your own email program. You already know how to use it, so we have it by default set to disable. The next category is the general conditions, contractors, GCO&P. We can do a variable and variable overhead and profit, and that'll be 10 and 10. It's imperative that it's not cumulative. If it's cumulative, it's going to give you 21%, and you'll get your file kicked back. So you want to use non-cumulative and percentage of RCV and ACV. This is set by default. But I will tell you one thing, though, we do need to select exclude O&P on non-recoverable depreciation from our CV totals. And what I mean by that is that it will, on the contractor's overhead and profit, will only take whatever is allowed for full replacement cost, and all the ACV items will add the 10 and 10 on all your ACV items as well. Okay, so it's important that you do have that selected. The headers is already pre-filled out, so you don't have to worry about that. Here's the important one then. It's called loss info, and this is based on the contact manager. So with this, I can actually say that the carrier and client might be Torrent, or it could be EDS, or it could be HP, or it could be NFS. So you can pick the carrier/client if you wish to do so. A lot of people leave this blank because they will pick it when they bring the claim in. And so a lot of people leave that blank. The contractors normally blank, but take a look here. Here on the adjustment company, I can select any of my adjustment companies. So for example, the one I just selected was Simsol Adjusting. I could double click on that. I'm going to go back to loss information, and that's how I can reselect multiple contacts, whatever is needed. On the adjuster, I do the same thing and select it. Okay. Oh, I don't have it selected now. There we go. And then the estimator, if you're a contractor, then you can select that. On the left-hand side, represents in a storm condition, okay, or catastrophic event condition. As you know, the loss date for floods are always the same date, so you can actually put that in and it'll automatically fill that out for you. This is really not important like it used to be because we have data coming in from ClaimsWire or from other third-party sources. So all that would be filled out automatically. On the loss type, you can select, if you're doing strictly flood, you can select flood if you need to do so, okay? Now, don't worry about if you had it in the preferences and you came in and created and put the flood in, and if it's really a wind claim, you can always go to that individual field, hit the down arrow, and select it, and it will override it. So don't worry about that. Okay, you can put the city, state, and CAT number. The CAT number is special because I would put this in. So for example, on a very large event like Florence, they might say that our CAT number might be 823 or 822 or any of those. You can put that in, so it will automatically put that in so that when you go to your prelim report, the CAT number already shows up. So that's a nice feature. The next section is going to be the notes section, and the notes section is going to be given to you by the IA firm. So you could just do a copy and paste on here and then populate the building estimate cover page notes along with the total page notes. So check with your IA firms and they will tell you what kind of disclaimer notes that they want you to have into the file. And every time you do a new claim, it puts this disclaimer notes in there. The reporter, you shouldn't have to touch. The only thing I should tell you is never change the top margin from 1.75. If you do that, then you're not going to have a header. If you go below 1.75, you're never going to have a header. A lot of people like to put in the reports would probably like to put in, for example, half an inch. So I can do that. On the left border and the right border, half an inch. So that's a nice setup there. The next thing we're going to be talking about is going to be the sales and other taxes. On the sales and other taxes, you want to make sure that your material and equipment totals are selected. No need to put the sales tax rate here because we have a service. When you click the button, it says sales tax. It will automatically look and give you the correct sales tax based upon the zip code of the loss. So that's a real nice feature. Remember, do not forget, exclude sales tax on non-recoverable depreciation from RCV totals. On the warning notices, I just leave this like it is. It protects you from, on the audits, it'll say, because you can disable that if you wish to do so. I leave it all. For example, it just makes it nice have Simsol have another pair of eyes on your claim. Minimum wage. All right, on the minimum wage, you can then select whatever the minimum wage is. If you're in Alaska, you're going to use $9.80. If you're doing a flood claim, it's probably $7.25. So then I can change that if needed. Okay, if you're doing flood, it's always 725 at this juncture. ClaimsWire, that's our sister product, and if you need help in setting that up, please give us a call. On the signature/mentor, as you can see, I have my signature in there along with my mentor. Okay, if you need help putting these in, please call us at technical support. We'll be glad to help you with that. Other than that, the virtual scope sheet has been selected for the hints. Make sure that that's on so it can help you. And depreciation, you shouldn't have to worry about. And then you can also sign up for Clipboard if need be. Okay, that's it for our setting up the template. So every time you create a new claim, it copies that information and it'll really help you.